Thank you so much, Dan. First, I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much for having me here today. A big thank you to Nan, to Jody Reed, to all the others with Kara who are doing such tremendous work every day to support retirees and the labor movement. First off, before I get into my remarks, I want to take a moment of personal privilege to acknowledge my mom in the audience who's come down from the Chico area. And is a big supporter of ours and of labor generally. So it's great to have her with me here today. I'm a huge admirer of Kara, always have been. You all are on the front lines of some of the very biggest fights that the labor movement has right now. You're fighting for health care for everyone, protecting Social Security and Medicare, good wages and benefits for working people, and so much more. Your activism is central to our movement, and I'm just so honored to be here discussing the upcoming election and the importance of the senior vote with you. Now, I live here in Roseville. California's 4th Congressional District is my home. I can't tell you how heartwarming and awesome it is to see you all and other progressive activists out in front of Tom McClintock's office every single week. You're there, rain or shine, whether it's hot or cold, you're sending him a message that the resistance is alive and well in Sacramento. So thank you. I'll come back to Tom in a minute. But first, let me just talk for a moment about what this year's election means to me and to our shared movement. You know, I've been doing this work for a while, and every single election I can remember, somebody comes up to me and says, this is the most important election of my lifetime. You know, I've said it myself more times than I can count. And in a sense, it's true, right? Every election is critical. Winning elections is how we build power for working people, for retirees, for the middle class. And losing elections, well, we all know what happens when we lose elections. Right. So while all elections certainly matter, to me this one feels different. It's different than any other election has ever felt to me. Yeah, there's a lot at stakes in terms of the issues we care about. The labor movement is under attack. The Supreme Court, the GOP Congress, Donald Trump have all placed a target on our back. And they're not just trying to weaken unions. They are trying to destroy us. They're trying to raze us to the ground. They know that taking out unions will eliminate the last line of defense for working people, for seniors, for immigrants, for the American dream. But even beyond that, there's something about this election that's different still. Aside from the attacks on us, there's something bigger than all of us under attack. Democracy. Democracy itself. You know, every day Donald Trump is in office with a Republican Congress, our democracy withers. They're attacking the free press. They're degrading the environment. They're attacking immigrants and all people of color. They're colluding with the adversarial foreign governments. They're chipping away at everything that makes America great, and they're destroying any chance we have to make it better. And while Donald Trump is the CEO of this disaster, he's not the only one to blame. His top lieutenants in Congress are the ones carrying his agenda. And one of those top lieutenants is right here in our backyard, Tom McClintock. Ooh. You know, for years I've been confounded about how anyone can elect this guy. He's a career politician. He doesn't care about his constituents. He didn't even live in his district. Yet year after year, somehow he gets reelected. He uses big money from the Koch brothers, from corporate CEOs and environmental polluters. He lies his way into office, bankrolled by that corporate greed. Remember how I said this election feels different? Well, I think this may be finally the moment that people rise up and change the direction of this country.
Yes.
Let me tell you what Tom, I know you guys are all too familiar with Tom, but let me tell you a little bit about what Tom stands for. He voted against equal pay for women. He voted against increasing wages for working people. He voted for Trump's tax breaks for millionaires, which he, by the way, wants to pay for by pillaging Social Security and Medicare. Boo! Tom calls pre-existing conditions for folks a nuisance. He voted to strip millions of health care, even those with pre-existing conditions. And that comment about a nuisance, a pre-existing condition being a nuisance, he actually said that. That is an actual quote from him. Now, to me, that's personal. My wife is a cancer survivor. Her health care is her lifeline. Tom doesn't care about her. Tom only cares about keeping those insurance company checks rolling into his campaign bank account. You know, Tom does not reflect the values of this district. The values that I see here in this room today, the values that I see in my community. He doesn't reflect the values of the America we love. He's the poster child for everything that's wrong in Washington, D.C. right now. Well, I think time's about up on Tom and all of those like him, because voters are starting to figure out who's on their side and who, like Tom, is not. And that's what I think is so important about what you all are doing today. You're looking at issues. You're actually figuring out who's on the side of retirees, who's on the side of working people, and who's on the side of those big corporations that Tom is collecting checks from. Fortunately, there's another choice in California for her. I had the pleasure of speaking to her a little bit this morning on her way in. And I can't tell you how excited I am about her candidacy and about having the chance to meet her today. Jessica Morse, in the back of the room, everyone. Jessica has fresh ideas for this district. She knows what a disaster Tom and others have been. She's a progressive. She fights for us. She'll stand up to the corporate PACs and the Koch brothers and all their cronies. She's a part of this community, unlike Tom. And she'll fight for us every single day. That's leadership. What we see from Tom McClintock, that's cowardice.
Yes.
This is the time for the change we need. We have about 10 districts in California, including California 4 right here, that the California Labor Federation is working in right now. Talking to voters every day, doing what we all do best as a labor movement, as a collection of working people. We are talking to people face to face. We're not engaged in dirty attack ads or any of that nonsense. We're having real conversations at the door. That's what we're about, that's what you're about, and that's what's going to make a difference this election. The fight for the control of Congress runs right through the spine of California. It runs right through this district. You know, no one gives us much of a chance to actually make a difference in Republican country, as they call it. But I see something different, something that I've never seen before. I see the energy, the activism. I see your activism, and I know we have a chance to make change because of you. Every voter you talk to at the door on the phone could be the voter that makes that difference. Every voter you educate about the stakes of this election could turn that tide. The work you are doing has never been more important than it is today. I know you've got a great program today as you continue to prepare for November. You're going to hear from Jessica and many others. But let me leave you with just a final thought. I'm scared for our country. I know many of you are as well.
Sure are.
But fear never defines us. It's a hope for a better tomorrow that always wins out. Every single one of you in this room represents that hope. I see it, the Labor Federation sees it, this community sees it. You represent the strength and resiliency of America. You represent what's best about our nation. I'm honored and privileged to work alongside you to create lasting change in November and beyond. Because I know together we can do this. Together we can change this country. Together we can send a message to Trump and his cronies like Tom McClintock. Together we will take back this country. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you for inviting me here today. And let's go get them in November. Thank you so much.